Hey, welcome to Life After Bariatrics. In this video, I want to talk about my top 3 challenges after having weight loss surgery. The first challenge that I want to talk about is alcohol. I struggle with alcohol to the point of almost becoming an alcoholic, and I don't say that lightly. I actually found that there are many other bariatric patients that had the exact same struggles with alcohol as I did, and some that ended up being not a little worse off, but end up becoming full-blown alcoholics after having the weight loss surgery. So this is something that I was not prepared for. I didn't even know that it was a possibility that I could become an alcoholic once I had the surgery. My relationship with alcohol went from before having the surgery, it was I wanted a drink, to now after having the surgery, it was I needed a drink. And this was not something that would happen immediately. This is something that happened over time. About 3 years down the line is when I really found myself starting to struggle with alcohol in such a way that I had been noticing that, my body wasn't processing it the same, and that I was getting inebriated quicker than I was prior to having the surgery. But what really started happening 3 years down the line was the need for it, the craving for it. And I was getting to the point where I started noticing that when I would have my first drink or the first sip of alcohol, I felt it in my body. It was like I could feel it in my veins, and it almost felt like a fix. And my intake increased to about 5 to 6 days out of the week, and really that 1, maybe 2 days that I didn't drink was honestly it was probably a recovery day. It was I drank way too much the night before and I need a day off. That was typically my reasoning for not having a drink out of the week, which is really bad, and it got so bad to where it started affecting my relationships. It was affecting my body. It was affecting even my work. And when you're talking about something external having that much of effect on your life, that was something I was not prepared for. And then when I was in the thick of it and in the midst and the valley of my mess, I had no clue where to turn. And it was something really hard for me to cope with because I thought I was alone. When I was in the midst of it, I didn't know that there were other people out there that were having the exact same struggles that I was having. And that alone would have given me hope that, okay, I can get out of this, or I'm not alone. So I want to tell those out there that have had the surgery and that are finding themselves struggling with alcohol, you're not alone. There are so many other bariatric patients that are struggling with alcohol just the same, or used to struggle with alcohol just the same. I'm now 2 years almost, by the end of this year, I'll be 2 years sober, that I haven't had one sip of alcohol. It is something I completely put down, and it's something that I'm not even interested in picking back up. Some people ask me, do I miss drinking? No, I've honestly probably drunk enough for my lifetime, so I'm good on that front. But it's, I just want to tell those out there that are in the midst of it, you're not alone, and you can get out of it. You can come out of this. You can overcome this challenge. It is very possible, and you are not alone. For those of you that have not had the surgery yet, this is something that I want you to do research on. Do the necessary research to see how alcohol can fully affect your body after having the surgery. And if you have already had the surgery, but you're not finding yourself having any symptoms of alcoholism, just pay attention to it. It's something that you really need to monitor always. Like if you're still drinking, just monitor how much you're drinking. Start monitoring how often you're drinking. Monitor how monitor the reasons that you're drinking, because another thing is transfer addiction. You can go from using food for kind of that emotional support to now using alcohol for that emotional support. I was finding myself using alcohol for all the reasons. You know, if I had a bad day, I needed a drink. If I had a good day, it was a celebration, therefore I needed a drink. If I was bored, it was, oh, well, let me meet a few folks at the bar. I mean, I was coming up with every reason in the book to drink. And it had such a negative effect on my life. And I thank God that I have now overcome that area. And now I'm in full control because I don't drink anymore. So that was my number one challenge that I had after having weight loss surgery. My second challenge was weight regain. So now this is something that I knew that was very possible for me, in the sense that the doctor forewarned me that I could regain the weight back if I was not cautious. I heard him. I understood that intellectually, but I did not receive that as a possibility for myself. So I understood that that might happen to other people, but that can't happen to me. And having that mind frame, combined with complacency, combined with eating and drinking outside of the parameters that I should have stayed inside, that was a combination for weight regain. On top of the stress that I was dealing with at work and just in life in general. So stress, eating and drinking the things that I shouldn't be drinking, or eating and drinking. And when I say drinking here, drinking outside of the parameters, I'm not necessarily speaking about alcohol. I'm talking about drinking sugary drinks. I'm talking about drinking sodas and sweet teas and things of that sort. And as far as eating, I'm talking about eating junk food, and pick back up breads and this list of foods that I knew I wasn't supposed to be eating, or I wasn't supposed to be eating them as often as I was finding myself eating them. So all of that combined was really the perfect recipe for me to regain the weight back. And I regained 50 pounds, which was a lot. That's a lot of weight to regain back. You can expect your body to fluctuate between 5 to 10 pounds, but I blew that out of the water and regained 50 pounds. And now I've lost that weight back, but I've had to work to lose that weight. So it's not as easy at the beginning. At the beginning, your first 18 months, you're losing weight like really quickly. Your body is in such a state to where you can lose that weight really quickly. After those 18 months, your body slows down and you really have to work to lose that weight. So for those of you that are just now getting the surgery, know that it is very possible for you to regain the weight back if you are not, if you don't pay attention to your lifestyle, if you don't pay attention to whether or not you're falling back into old habits. So this is something that you really want to pay attention to. And those of you that have regained the weight back, or regained more than you wanted to, it's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up. You know, it's not, this surgery was never a wave of the wand and you'll never have an issue again with food. That's not how this works. It's really a mental game as far as your weight loss, and our surgeries are merely a tool, a very powerful tool, but a tool nonetheless. So the fact that you've gained the weight back, it's okay. Now it's time to address what exactly put you back in this situation. What propelled you to gain this weight back, and now start addressing each of those points. But you first have to acknowledge it and give yourself grace. Treat yourself as though you're treating someone else that you dearly loved. So that's my experience with weight regain. And lastly, my third top challenge that I had was shame. I had so much shame wrapped around having this surgery. Although I was very grateful for having the surgery, I was so embarrassed to talk about the fact that I had had it. And I now looking back, I hate that I allowed myself to sit in such a destructive emotion for so long, because it robbed me of my peace. It robbed me of my energy and time, worrying about what other people were going to think, worried about whether someone was going to think that I took the easy way out, or whether or not somebody was going to think that that it was a cop-out. And, you know, regardless of what someone may think, this decision was something that I made for myself to better my health and to give me a chance at life that I wanted. And I do not regret that decision. So I really wish that I understood then what I understand now. And now I focus on now shame is not even like a thing for me anymore in regards to having the surgery, but I allow myself to sit in gratitude. You know, I'm grateful for the fact that I had the surgery, because many people are not approved for the surgery. I'm grateful for the fact that I've had a pretty smooth, health-wise, I've had a smooth journey with the surgery. There were no major complications with the surgery itself for me, so I'm grateful for that. And yes, I've had my challenges along the way, but I'm also really grateful that I've now overcome those challenges, and now I get the chance to tell what I've gone through, and, you know, give somebody else hope that they're not alone. So I'm grateful for my journey that I've gone through, and my gratitude far outweighs the shame that I felt at the time. So if you find yourself in the midst of that, please try to address it. Shame is something that it's almost like a virus, and it eats away at you. It's toxic, and there's no real progress that can come out of that space. So these are my top 3 challenges that I had: alcohol, weight regain, and shame. I'm going to make separate videos of each of these individually and go further into my experience with each of them and how I overcame them. And hopefully that can be of help to someone out there. If it's just one person, I'm so thankful for that. Yeah, so look out for these videos coming up. If anyone has any questions or want to comment on this subject because it's related to you in some form or fashion, whether you directly or you know someone that's had the same challenges, please comment below. If you want a sense of anonymity and you don't really want anybody to know that you shared in these struggles, feel free to email me at lifeafterbariatrics@gmail.com. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. And if you are wanting to hear more about my experience with weight loss surgery, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are.